Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to our beloved and respectful lecturer, Dr. Rosli bin Ahmad and fellow cosmates pada Ketan. So today is our turn to explain and present to you the next topic for the course of ABD 7253, Testing and Assessment in Psychology. So our topic today is reliability. So first and foremost, I would like to introduce our group member, which consists of myself, Sareh Safwan bin Abu Seman, and pharmacist from KKM. The next is Madam Noor Azleen Binti Yusop from KBS. And last but not least is Madam Fazrine Binti Ahmad Zubir from PDRM. So three of us will discuss with you today in greater details about reliability. So we do hope that you guys are looking forward to the class today, and hopefully we together could learn something new today, inshallah. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first presenter of our group, Madam Fazrine, to deliver her presentation. So please proceed, Madam Fazrine.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Mr. Sareh, for the awesome introduction. Okay, good morning to the Honorable Lecturer, Dr. Rosli bin Ahmad, and fellow friends. Today, I would like to begin our group presentation with the topic of reliability. I am the first presenter that will cover the topic about what is reliability, true score theory, measurement error, random error, systematic error, reducing measurement error, and theory of reliability. The second presenter, Mrs. Azleen, she will cover the topic of type of reliability, test retest, alternate, parallel or equivalent form reliability, internal consistency reliability, type of internal consistency reliability, split half method, Cronbach coefficient alpha, Kuder-Richardson reliability, internal consistency reliability, and iterator reliability. While the final presenter, Mrs. Sareh, will cover the topic about estimation reliability, obtained score, standard error of measurement, interpreting reliability coefficient, evaluating the reliability coefficient, factor affecting reliability, and finally, ways to increase reliability. Okay, our quote for today is reliability is the precondition for trust, from Wolfgang Schubel. Okay, what is reliability? Well, reliability has to do with quality of measurement. In everyday sense, reliability is the consistency or repeatability of a measurement. Consistency is stability over time and across population. A reliability test produces similar score across various conditions and situations, including different evaluators and testing environment. The foundation of reliability is the true score theory of measurement. Okay, other terms that you need to know is the measurement error and also the theory of reliability. Next, the true score theory. Okay, the true score theory is a theory about measurement. Every measurement is an additive composite of two components, which is true ability or the true level of the respondent on that measures and the random error. Okay, the simple equation is x equal to t plus e. Has a parallel equation at the level of variance or variability of a measure. Okay, why is the true score theory important? Okay, first, it's because the most measurement has an error component. Second, it is the foundation of reliability theory. A measure that has no random error is perfectly reliable, whereas a measure that has no true score, which is all its random error, has zero reliability. And the true score theory can be used in computer simulations as the basic for generating observed score with certain known properties. Okay, next is measurement error. Okay, measurement error refer to collectively all of the factors associated with the process of measuring some variable and other than the variable that being measured. Okay, error can be categorized as being either random or systematic. Okay, what is random error? Okay, random error is caused by any factor that randomly affect measurement of the variable across the sample. For instance, each person's mood can inflate or deflate their performance on any occasion. It pushes observed scores up or down randomly. Random error does not have any consistent effects across the entire example. It adds variability to data but does not affect average performance. Sometimes it considered as noise. Next is what is systematic error? Okay, systematic error is any factor that systematically affect measurement of variable across the sample. Systematic error tend to be consistently either positive or negative. A source of error in measuring a variable that is typically constant to be true value A source of error in measuring a variable that is typically constant to what is presumed to be true value of the variable being measured. Okay, sometimes it's considered to be bias in measurement. Okay. Okay, next is reducing measurement error. Okay, how to reduce measurement error? Okay, for random or systematically. Okay, first to pilot test your instrument, okay, which is getting back from the respondent regarding how easy or hard the measure that was, and information about how the testing environment affecting their performance. Okay, second, if you are gathering measure using people or collect the data, for example as interviewers or observers, you can make sure that you train them or your respondent thoroughly so that they are inadvertently introducing error. Then thirdly, when you collect data for your study, you should double check the data thoroughly. For example, all data entry for computer analysis should be double punched and verified. Then enter the data twice, or the second time having your data entry machine check that you are type the exact same data you did that first time. Okay, number 4, you can statistically produce to adjust. Can use statistical procedure to adjust measurement error. Simple formula you can apply directly to your data to very complex modeling procedure for modeling the error and its effect. And finally, this is especially for systematic error. You can use multiple measure of the same construct, especially if different measure doesn't share the same systematic error. You will be able to triangulate across the multiple measure and get more accurate sense of what is going on. Okay, next is the theory of reliability. Okay, as I said in the first slide, in research, the term reliability means repeatability or consistency. A measure is considered reliable if it would give us the same result over and over again. To see how repeatable or consistent an observation is, we can measure it twice. And we assume that the measurement doesn't change between time of our first and second observation, we can begin to understand how we get a reliability. Okay. The score is consisting of two parts: the true score or actual level for the person on that measure and the error in measuring it. Reliability is a ratio or fraction. In layman terms, we might define the ratio as a true level on the measure divided by the entire measure. The reliability is a characteristic of a measure that's taken across individuals. Okay, the theory of reliability. Variance is a measure of the spread or distribution of set of scores. The variance of the scores divided by the variance of the measure. Okay, as you know, we cannot compute the reliability because we cannot calculate the variance of the true score, but we can only estimate it. Covariance, which simply measure the shared variance between measures, must be an indicator of the variability of true scores because the true scores in x1 and x2 are the only things the two observations share. We can estimate the reliability as the correlation between two observations of the same measure. If the measure is perfectly reliable, there is no error in that measurement. Okay, the score is 1. Whereas if the measurement perfectly unreliable measure, which is there is no true score, for example, if perfectly unreliable measure and there is no true score, the score is 0. Okay, the reliability of 0.8 means reliability variability. The variability is 80% true ability, and the balance of 20% is error. So the next slide is the difference between reliability and validity. Okay, The reliability is the extent. In terms of what does it tell, reliability is the extent to which the result can reproduce when the research is repeated under the same condition. Whereas validity, the extent to which results really measure what they are supposed to measure. Okay, so in terms of how of the assessment, reliability by checking the consistency of results across time, different observers, and across part of the test itself. Whereas for the validity, by checking how well the result correspond to established theories and other measure the same concept. Okay. For in terms of how your relation, the reliability, a reliable measurement is not always valid. The result might be reproducible, but they don't necessarily correct. Whereas a valid measurement is generally reliable. If a test produces accurate result, they should be reproducible. Okay. That's all for my part. Thank you for your attention. So I would like to invite the next presenter, which is Miss Azleen, to proceed with her presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Fazrine, for the very excellent and wonderful presentation just now. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to Dr. Rosli and all my dear friends. I will proceed and continue the topic of type of reliability. Okay, there were 4 types of reliability. The first one is test-retest, also known as repeatability test, which also can be known as coefficient stability test. It was developed by Blunt and Edmund on 1986. Second type is alternate, parallel, and equivalent form. The third type is internal consistency, which include of split half method, coefficient alpha, and Kruger-Richardson method. And finally is the iterator reliability. Okay. Into test-retest reliability. It is an instrument computed by the measuring subject at 2 distinct occasions on the instrument and then computing the correlation, the closeness of the agreement between the result of successive measurement of the same measure when carried out under the same condition of measurement. The aim of score is to examine stability and accuracy. If the correlation between the separate administration of the test is high, then it has a good test-retest reliability. As you can see, I have tried to explain in graphic. The first test is on 1st March and the second test is on 1st April. Okay, in these 2 pictures, the same respondent take the same test at the different time. Okay. According to the test-retest method, guidelines for evaluating and expressing the uncertainty of NIST measurement result 1994, we must follow the condition to fulfill the test-retest method. Okay, the first one is the same experimental tools, means di sini menggunakan instrumen yang sama, the same observers. Maksud dekat sini kajian itu mestilah datang daripada pengkaji yang sama. Kita tak boleh gunakan kajian orang lain untuk buat retest. Okay, the same measuring instrument used under the same condition. Maksud dekat sini kalau test pertama kita buat di dalam kelas, test kedua pun kena buat dalam kelas, tak boleh buat dekat padang. Okay, and then the same location. Saya kata untuk test yang pertama kita buat dekat sekolah rendah, tiba-tiba test retest kita nak buat dekat tadika, tak boleh. Okay, repetition over a short period of time. Basically about the period of time, this one will be explained further by Cik Sareh. And then we must fulfill the condition under the same objective. Okay. Next. Okay. Next. The test retest is estimated by using reliability coefficient. most commonly used by assessment of Pearson coefficient correlation Pearson coefficient correlation formula. Okay, it is perfect reliability when the correlation value is exact. The range of reliability coefficient is from 0 to 1. As you can see on the below table, if the score is below of 0.5, it is unacceptable. 0.6 to 0.7 is questionable. 0.7 to 0.8 is acceptable. 0.8 to 0.9 good, while more than 0.9 is excellent. Alright. So usually on the second administration of psychological test might yield systematically different scores than the first administration for several reasons. The first reason is characteristic or attribute that is being measured may change between the first and the second test. The second reason is reactivity. Maybe the subject has the experience of taking the test before. And the third reason is carryover effect, where the subject still remember their original answer during the first test. Okay. The advantage of test retest, it is appropriate for the test designed to measure stability. It is also appropriate for the test of aptitude. Aptitude means kebolehan, seperti kebolehan mengeja, kebolehan membaca, kebolehan mengira. And then the score are representative and stable over the time. Actually, this is because all the sampel and item yang diuji adalah sama. Jadi, skor adalah stabil dan boleh dikatakan mewakili. Okay, consistency of result as study. Okay, ini dapat menyumbang kepada dapatan kajian yang konsisten kerana retest menjadikan item yang diuji itu reliable. Jadi bila dia reliable, bila digunakan di ujian yang sebenar, keputusan ujian yang sebenar nanti akan jadi lebih kurang ataupun konsisten. And finally, the advantage, it is useful when one is interested in the long-term stability. Contoh dekat sini kalau kita buat rawatan, ujian dalam rawatan kepada pesakit diabetes, di mana rawatan tu nanti boleh digunakan untuk orang lain dalam tempoh jangka masa yang panjang. Okay. The disadvantage can be considered on the time consuming, makan masa yang panjang, expensive, repeated memory of the sample. Sample ni biasanya dia akan ingat soalan tu. And the maturation of the sample. Jadi bila dia ingat untuk the second test, dia akan jadi mature dan jawapan tu mungkin dia akan buat untuk menampakkan diri dia yang lebih baik. Okay. Here are a few tips on improving test retest. Try to formulate question that won't be influenced by the mood or concentration of the participant. Contoh kat sini kalau kita nak bagi contoh soalan, mungkin boleh buat macam ni. Adakah ibu anda seorang yang bertimbang rasa? Jadi soalan tu bila mana sampel ni dia baru je pagi tadi kena marah dengan ibu dia, dia mungkin akan memberi jawapan mengikut emosi. Tetapi mungkin kita boleh try untuk buat soalan macam ni. Perwatakan seorang ibu sepatutnya bertimbang rasa. Daripada skala 1 hingga 5 senyatakan. Okay, itulah contoh. And then the next point is try to minimize the influence of external factors and make sure all the samples are tested under the same conditions. Okay, contoh kalau kat sini kita nak buat kajian tentang waktu kerja fleksibel, kita perlu plan supaya sampel yang digunakan untuk test ini adalah daripada satu agensi ataupun satu scope nature yang kerja yang sama. Contohnya kita tak boleh mengambil sampel yang datang dari pelbagai skop kerja, terutama kalau kita campurkan yang bekerja waktu office dan yang bekerja shift. Jadi adalah tidak wajar untuk kita mencampurkan dan data yang kita dapat nanti memang takkan dapat reliable. And finally, remember that changes can be expected to occur in participant over time. Take this into account. Contoh mungkin dekat sini kalau kita boleh tanyakan dalam questionnaire itu, berapa lama tempoh masa yang diambil dalam sehari untuk menggunakan sosial media. Jadi untuk test pertama mungkin partisipan ni akan menjawab 8 jam. Dan bila balik dia fikir balik terlalu lama sangat dia ambil. Jadi mungkin untuk the next retest dia dah pun dapat kesedaran dan insaf. Next retest tu dia mungkin dah bagi jawapan 2 jam ataupun 3 jam yang menampakkan diri dia lebih baik daripada sebelum ini. Itu adalah consideration lah. Okay, here I want to share a bit on the additional facts. Becks et al. 1996 studied in the responses of the 26 outpatient on 2 separate therapy sessions 1 week apart. They found a correlation of 0.93, therefore demonstrated a high test retest, sangat tinggi dekat situ, 0.93. This one is about the reliability of the depression inventory. Okay, this one is an example of why reliability in psychological research is necessary. If it wasn't for the reliability of such tests, some individuals may not be successfully diagnosed with disorders such as depression and consequently will not be given appropriate therapy. Pentingnya untuk kita conduct test retest dekat situ. Alright. Okay, the second type, we move to the second type, alternate, parallel or equivalent form reliability. Alternate means pilihan, parallel is selari, and equivalent means kesamaan. Okay, obtained by administering 2 equivalent tests to the same group examinees. Items are same, domain, construct, and the match for difficulty of the test. It is necessary that the time frame between giving the 2 forms as short as possible. The test form should be equivalent in terms of content, response processes, and statistically characteristic. I would like to explain in Malay. Okay, dengan ambil contoh, dalam satu kajian ni, pengkaji ni menyediakan sebanyak 10 soalan dan daripada 10 soalan tu dia bahagikan kepada 2 set, set A dan set B. Set A mengandungi soalan 1, soalan 3, soalan 5. Set B ada soalan 2, soalan 4, soalan 6. Jadi untuk buat reliability test ni, pada hari Isnin dia buat test A, dia menggunakan responden group A lah. Dan pada hari Selasa, dia buat satu lagi test menggunakan group tadi dengan menggunakan set soalan B. Ini dinamakan alternate, parallel or equivalent form reliability. Set soalan yang berlainan, responden yang sama, masa yang berbeza. Okay, alright. Okay, jadi bila dia dah conduct kedua-dua test tu pada hari Isnin dan hari Khamis, dia dapat 2 set of question, 2 set of respon, dan kedua-dua set tu dia akan kira, dia akan dapatkan correlation di antara kedua-dua set tu lah untuk mendapatkan kesahan daripada item-item yang diuji dalam test tersebut. The advantage, the strength and the weakness of alternate form. The strength is provide partial solution to many of the problem inherent in test retest method. It solve the problem of reactivity in test retest. It is also feasible to administer the second form immediately after the first, which cannot be done in test retest. And the parallel form reliability can avoid some problem inherent with the test resting. However, the weakness is expensive, impractical, difficult to develop several alternate forms, difficult to guarantee that 2 alternate forms of a test in a parallel measure, and then the researcher must create the large number of questions under the same construct, and also proving that the 2 test versions are equivalent can be challenged. Di sini dengan ringkasnya, dia bagus untuk researcher tu bila dia akan jadi lebih detail dan study, examine, thinking, skill dia akan meningkat. Tapi pada masa yang sama dia memerlukan lots of effort, time and money to conduct this kind of test. Alright. Okay, we go to the next, internal consistency reliability. It assesses the intercorrelation among the survey item. An assumption of internal consistency reliability is that all items are written in measure for one overall aggregate construct. Therefore, it is assumed that these items are intercorrelated at some conceptual or theoretical level. Internal consistency assess the correlation between multiple items in a test that are intended to measure under the same construct. You can calculate internal consistency without repeating the test or involving other researchers. So it is a good way of assessing the reliability when you only have one data set. Alright. Maksudnya dekat sini internal consistency ni adalah untuk menguji sesuatu konstruk yang nak digunakan di dalam sebuah kajian. Okay, there are three types of internal consistency. First one is split half, second one is coefficient alpha, and third one is Kuder-Richardson method. Okay, split half assess the internal of the test such as psychometric and questionnaire. This can be done by comparing the result of one half of a test with the result of the other half. It can be split in several ways. The reliability of the test could be improved through using this method. It is a very quick and easy way to establish reliability. However, it can only be effective with the large questionnaire in which all questions measure under the same construct. Dekat sini maksudnya researcher ni dia akan buat satu sahaja ujian kepada satu grup sampel. Bila dia dah habis ujian, dia dapatkan respon tu, dia bahagi dua. Respon tu dia bagi dua. Contoh tadi kalau dia buat ujian tu kepada 100 orang responden, keputusan yang 100 tu dia bahagi kepada dua set. Jadi dia akan calculate the set A dan set B secara berasingan. Okay. Okay, coefficient alpha methods attempt to estimate the reliability as possible as split half combination. Okay, they do this by correlating the score for each item on the test with total score on the test and finding the average correlation for all items. Okay, usually they use Cronbach alpha test to see the multiple question in a Likert scale survey. Okay. So next, Cronbach alpha will tell you how closely related a set of a test item as a group. For example, individuals who are producing depressed score should be responding to test item in manner that indicate depression. If particular item are not able to discriminate between depressed and non-depressed individual, there are likely some problem with those items, and this will be reflected in an overall lower internal consistency. Maksud dekat sini, coefficient alpha ni digunakan untuk mengukur split half itu tadi. Dengan kaedah soalan-soalan tu, item-item tersebut mestilah dalam bentuk Likert scale. Saya nak bagi contoh dalam critical review yang saya buat untuk subjek ni. Okey, bagi ujian kesahan skala yang ingin dibentuk, pengkaji pada mulanya telah mengemukakan sebanyak 41 item untuk dibuat kesahan. Setelah melalui proses internal consistency test, pengkaji mendapati bahawa 10 daripada item tersebut adalah tidak boleh diguna di atas beberapa sebab seperti redundancy ataupun dia sukar difahami. Jadi selepas melalui proses ini, kesahan, hanya tinggal 31 item yang digunakan oleh researcher tersebut bagi meneruskan kajian dalam membentuk skala ataupun instrumen yang dia ingin bangunkan. Itu adalah contoh. Okay. Finally, for the internal consistency, we have the Kuder-Richardson reliability. It tests for internal consistency, more advanced and slightly more complex. In this version, the test works out the average correlation for all possible split half combination in a test. It generates a correlation between 0 and 1 with more accurate result than the split halves test. The weakness of this approach is with split halves, it is is that the answer for each question must be simple, right or wrong answer, 0 or 1. For multi-scale responses, sophisticated techniques are needed to measure internal consistency reliability. Senang nak cerita, kuda Richardson pun adalah untuk mengukur split half method juga. Jadi this is the differences between the kuda Richardson and coefficient alpha. Kedua-duanya digunakan untuk mengukur split half method. Dan kuda Richardson digunakan bagi soalan yang mempunyai jawapan yang ringkas, iaitu 2 jawapan, sama ada salah atau betul. Dan coefficient alpha digunakan untuk mengukur skor bagi soalan-soalan yang mempunyai beberapa pilihan jawapan. Contoh seperti Likert scale, macam yang Dr. Rosli telah ajar. Likert scale ada skala jawapan 3, 5, 7 dan nombor-nombor ganjil. Okay. The final test is iterator reliability test. The retest method assess the internal consistency for a test. This refers to degree of which different raters give consistent estimate of the same behavior. Iterator reliability can be used for interviews involve having 2 raters independently. Note, it also can be called inter-observer reliability when referring to observational research. Here, researcher observe the same behavior independently to avoid bias and compare their data. If the data is similar, then it is reliable. A simple way to think this is as a kohon kappa is a quantitative measure of reliability for 2 raters at the rating same thing, corrected for how often that the raters may be agreed by chance. Okey, dekat sini kita jelas nampak dekat sini untuk iterator reliability ni dibuat untuk mendapatkan satu kesefahaman daripada ketiga-tiga observer. Apa yang diuji adalah behavior. For example, if 2 researchers are observing aggressive behavior of children at nursery, they would both have their own subjective opinion regarding the aggression comprised. In this scenario, it would be unlikely they would record aggressive behavior at the same data would be unreliable. Okay, bila tengok satu-satu perlakuan itu, behavior itu, observer 1 akan memberikan skor dia pada masa yang sama, observer 2 juga akan bagi dia punya skor. Okay, where observer score do not significantly correlate, then reliability can be improved by training the observer in observation technique being used and making sure everyone agree with the item and ensuring the behavior category have been operationalized. This means they have been objectively defined. Antara perkara yang mungkin membolehkan kedua-dua observer ini tidak mendapat mencapai kesefahaman dalam skor masing-masing adalah kerana isu teknikal di mana mungkin mereka tidak faham sepenuhnya dan mungkin apa yang hendak dikaji itu adalah tidak dijelaskan dengan tepat. I think this is my slide. I would like to summarize the type of reliability based on my understanding. Okay, there are 4 types: test, retest, alternate, internal consistency, and iterator. Okay, the difference between internal consistency is only measure dalaman, construct yang dibuat secara dalaman. Manakala test, retest, alternate, and equivalent form, and iterator adalah untuk mengukur kesahan yang di luar daripada item-item. Okay, this is the condition, measure, the test, retest, macam yang saya sebut tadi, dia adalah untuk aim of score is stability. Masa yang diuji adalah berlainan, item dan responden adalah sama. Dia menggunakan formula Pearson coefficient. Untuk alternate juga adalah sama, dia measure over item maknanya dua item yang berbeza. Waktu yang diukur adalah waktu yang berbeza dan set item adalah yang berbeza, tapi responden adalah sama. Kebanyakannya untuk mengukur ability lah. And then internal consistency memang semuanya untuk mengukur konsistensi lah di antara item-item di bawah satu construct. Okay, untuk bezanya Cronbach efficient alpha dengan Cody Richardson ialah Cronbach alpha digunakan untuk soalan yang mempunyai pelbagai jawapan seperti Likert scale, dan Cody Richardson untuk jawapan yes or no lah. Okay. Dan iterator yang last sekali ia mengukur antara persefahaman di antara beberapa researcher, dan biasanya diukur targeted behavior. Testing time waktu yang sama diukur, item pun item yang sama, responden pun responden yang sama diukur. And normally they use formula of Kuchen-Kappa. I think that's all from me. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Doctor. I would like to invite Mr. Sareh for the further presentation. Thank you from me. Assalamualaikum.
Hi everyone, it's me back. Okay, thank you so much to Madam Fazrine and Madam Azleen. So just a quick recap what both of them has explained to us. So Madam Fazrine has explained and in brief what is the errors reliability is all about. So just we have tried our best to use as simple as possible the layman language that could help us in understanding what is reliable is all about, because reliability is an important aspect when we going to carry out our research project in the next semester, inshallah. So what have been explained by Madam Fazrine. Okay, reliability is something that something to do with errors or bias, because in using any instrument or protocol in a research, it is unavoidable that it might be influenced by bias or errors. So, however, there's no way that we could possibly avoid the errors. So that's why the reliability comes into the framework of the research. So we cannot avoid it at all, but at least we sort of find measurement, how to know how much is error being introduced in our measurement, as what been explained by Madam Azleen just now. So from that presentation, so whatever research design that we're going to use, we have to adapt and adopt the reliability test that suit with our research proposal. So for my part, I will explain to you. So hopefully you still bear with me. I know it's a bit long presentation, but this is a very important presentation. So hopefully you still can bear with me for another 20 to 21 slides, inshallah. So how to estimate the reliability? So there are three common terms. So when we talk about reliability, we have to put in mind there are three terms that usually used to represent the reliability. The first one is the reliability coefficient, which has been explained thoroughly by Madam Azleen just now. So reliability coefficient quantifies the relationship of observed score. So observed score is the combination of the true ability plus error. So the true ability, let's say I give you an example. Dengan izin, let me speak in Malay just to give a clear understanding. So contohnya, dalam satu ujian yang kita beri kepada kita punya study sample, kalau kata markah penuhnya adalah 100, true ability untuk setiap peserta ni akan berbeza. Dia bergantung kepada the strength and the weakness of the ability, which are promptly influenced by the environment. Tapi let's say lah kita kata dia punya true ability is 85. So 100 minus 85 is 15. So 15 is the error. It is the estimate error that we calculate from the test result. However, the true score ni masalahnya no one knows, only God knows, because as much as possible that we strive toward perfection, nobody is perfect kan, only God is perfect. So that's why reliability test ni sangat important, just to estimate how much error that we might introduce due to the bias of the research. So the next is the standard error of measurement, which indicates the variability of a score for an individual or the average amount of error for an individual if the instrument were administered repeatedly. So tadi error of measurement has been explained by Madam Fazrine. So error tadi kan ada dua kan, ada random error dengan systematic error. Okay, the next one is the reliability index. Is the relationship between the true score and observed score. Okay, these three ni benda yang kalau kita baca research article kita akan jumpa lah usually. Just as a guide through this presentation. Okay, what is obtained score? Okay, this picture you have seen just now by Madam Fazrine. So the score you get when you administer a test consists of two parts: the true score, the true ability of the study participant, and the error score, random error that might be due to the bias of the research. So every measurement is an additive composite of two components, which is true ability or the true level of the respondent on that measure and random error. So memang ada calculation lah untuk observed score ni. Usually kita akan guna variance X equals to variance T plus variance EX for the error. Okay, standard error of measurement. So apa yang SEM ni boleh bagi tahu kita? It gives the margin or error that you should expect in an individual test score because of imperfect reliability of the test. So for easy understanding, SEM ni dia bagi guide. Okay, let's say kalau kita guna this type of instrument, so how much error that you should expect from this instrument. So this is what is SEM all about. So it can divide the error component into two subcomponents, which is random error and systematic error. So this one had been explained by Madam Fazrine just now. That's why it is important for us to know the basic concept of error. So the standard error of measurement is used to determine the effect of measurement error on individual result in a test and is a common tool in psychoanalytical research and standardized academic testing. So SEM ni is important indicator untuk any type of psychological punya analytical research or any psychometric instrument that we use in our research. So standard error of measurement is directly related to a test reliability. The larger the SEM, the lower the test reliability. So if test reliability is 0, the SEM will equal the standard deviation of the observed test score. So if the test reliability equals to 1, the SEM is 0. So from the least perfect to the most perfect one lah. So SEM ni dia adalah standard deviation punya formula. Okay, so far so good. Hopefully you guys can digest this slowly. It's okay. It's also a lot for us, but insyaAllah together we learn this topic. So how to calculate the SEM? So the SEM is a useful measure of the accuracy of individual test score. The smaller the SEM, the more accurate the measurement. So the calculation is equals to the standard deviation 1 divide 1 minus R. R is the reliability reliability coefficient that we calculated from the test that has been explained by Madam Fazrine just now. So here is the example. Let's say the kappa is 10, so and the R is 0.9, so the SEM is equals to 3.16. So another example, if the reliability is equal to 0.6, so the SEM is 6.32. So if we compare both, which one is the best? The first one lah. So we favor the smaller formula as SEM shows the more accurate measurement. Alright. Okay. How to interpret reliability coefficient? So when we read through the literature or research article or article journal, when we are doing our article review, I believe we will came across this term. So as explained by Madam Fazrine and Madam Azleen just now, so it's either the reliability result is in between 0 to 1. So the reliability of a test is indicated by reliability coefficient. We use the acronym R. So for effective instrument is such as checklists, rating scales, and inventories of personality, interest, or attitude. For cognitive instrument tests such as achievement, intelligence, or special abilities. So when we came across this type of instrument, we should look out for the reliability coefficient when we go through the article review, article journal or research article. So generally, you will see the reliability of a test as a decimal. For example, R equals to 0.8 or R equal to 9.3. So the larger the reliability coefficient, the more repeatable or reliable the test score. So let's say if we run the test, if we still if we get the result below than 0.5, so it must be something wrong with that particular instrument, which require further improvement or further amendment. So then we have to do the test again by the hope that we should at least get more than 0.6 reliability coefficient. However, do not select or reject a test solely based on the size of its reliability coefficient. To evaluate a test reliability, you should consider the type of test, the type of reliability estimate reported, and the context in which the test will be used. So this is the thing that you should consider before selecting any instrument into your research project. Okay, next, evaluating the reliability coefficient. So when we evaluate the reliability coefficient of a test, it is important to review the explanation provided in the manual for the following. This is especially when we adapt the psychometric test that has been developed by the previous researcher or from previous study. So this is the following factor that we should consider. The first one is types of reliability used. The manual should indicate why a certain type of reliability coefficient was reported. The manual should also discuss sources of random measurement error that are relevant for the test. The next one is how reliability studies were conducted. The manual should indicate the condition under which the data were obtained, such as the length of time that passed between administration of a test in a test-retest reliability study. In general, reliabilities tend to drop as the time between tests administration increases. This part has been explained by Madam Azleen just now. And last but not least, the characteristic of the sample group. So the manual should indicate the important characteristic of the group in gathering reliability information, such as educational level, occupation, etc. This allows you to compare the characteristic of the people you want to test with the sample group. If they are sufficiently similar, then the reported reliability estimate will probably hold true for your population as well. So simply put, kita kena make sure kita done the reliability test tu on the same population yang kita nak test dengan kita punya research sample. So dia tak boleh too different. Nanti dia akan jadi the reliability coefficient tu akan menyimpang banyak lah kalau kita tak guna sample population yang sama. So benda ni dia akan mempengaruhi. Okay. Factors that influence reliability, possible sources of measurement errors or bias. So there are 4 of them. The first one is the test itself or the instrument or psychometric that we employ in our research study. The test administration, how we administer the test, by what it means. The test scoring, how the type of scoring being used in that particular question or item. And last but not least is the test takers, which is the study population or the study participant in our research. So the first one, the test itself, the test form or the instrument. So the test can generate error by being poorly designed or by containing trick questions, ambiguous question or poorly written question, or by requiring a reading level higher than the reading level of people in the target population. This one is sometimes being a researcher, when we want to develop a questionnaire, sometimes we tend to forget or we become too ambitious towards our research purpose until we forgot the level of education, level of socio-economic factor when we designing our item. So that's why it is important to make sure that this item being designed appropriately. And then the poor test conditions such as noise or other distraction when taking a written test or slippery condition when taking a running test. Poor condition rather than subject's ability affect the subject score. Okay, this time is when the time when we administer the test tu, masa kita conduct the test, environmental factor pun boleh mempengaruhi jugalah the reliability punya result. So that's why when we wanted to test the reliability, we make sure the condition is the same or constant. Okay, the next is the test administration. The net administration can generate error when administrators do not follow instruction or administration in the test manual or allow disturbances to occur during test period. For example, the test administrator might misread the instruction for the length of the test period, answer test takers' question inappropriately, allow the room to be too hot, cold or noisy, or display attitude that suggests the test is too difficult or unimportant. Okay, this is almost interrelated with the first factor. So that's why the environmental factor or also the personal factor could also affect the time when the test administered to the study population. And another thing that also important is the comprehension of the study population toward the question that we administer to the study population is would also affect the overall reliability. And then the test scoring or the measurement unit or scale that we employ in that particular instrument. So the test scoring must be conducted accurately and according to the direction in the test manual. Scores might make errors in judgment or in calculating test scores. Although computer scoring is likely to decrease scoring error, it is important that the correct scoring scheme be entered in the computer. So that's why masa nak tetapkan scoring untuk setiap item tu, kena make sure that the unit tu being the decision nak tetapkan unit tu kena constant in the first place. Sebab unit atau measurement, how we measure the test tu, masa nak bagi scoring tu, dia akan mempengaruhi overall reliability. So a test unit of measurement may be too large to measure the characteristic precisely. For example, not everyone who is rated excellent is performing exactly the same. So giving them all the same score introduce some error. So deviation from their true score or ability. So this is what it means by the test scoring factors. Okay, the next one is the test taker or the subject of the study subject. The test taker themselves also can contribute to test error. Fatigue and illness or exposure to test question before the test can change test score. In addition, test taker who do not provide truthful and honest answer introduce error into their scores. So a subject could have a good or bad day when being tested, which means their performance differ from day to day. So the personal factor is something that sometimes we could not avoid as well. So that's why it is kind of difficult to maintain, to make sure that how to minimize this personal factor is also a big challenge for the researcher when conducting a research or a study. So the last part is how ways to increase the reliability. Actually, it's almost the same as what Madam Fazrine explained just now, how to reduce the error. The first one is the test length, test-retest interval, scoring, homogeneity questions, test administration, cooperation of test taker. So all the 6 components is the thing that we should consider after we do the reliability test. What improvement that we should consider to our instrument that we have been developed or adapted. So the test length, adding more questions that measure the same trait or attribute can increase a test reliability. So maksudnya kat sini, contohlah daripada total soalan yang kita buat tu, mungkin ada soalan yang tak cukup ataupun masih kurang untuk menjawab kita punya research question tu. That's why kita maybe kena tambah soalan ke ataupun buang soalan-soalan yang tidak relevan, then run balik test, reliability test tu, nak make sure at least kita dapat 0.6 reliability coefficient. So each question on a test serves as an observation that indicates the test taker knowledge, skill, ability or other trait being measured. So that's why penting buat reliability test tu. Kita nak measure dari segi dia punya knowledge, study population kita punya knowledge, ability, kefahaman dia ke, dia boleh jawab ke, dia faham ke, ataupun memang betul tak level yang kita guna ni, macam tu. So the more observation there are, the more accurate the measure is likely to be. That's why it is very critical for the researcher to make sure this important factor. So likewise, shortening a test by skipping or dropping question diminish the test reliability. So tak bolehlah simply macam nak diminish ataupun nak reject soalan tu without any proper test, proper explanation ke ataupun consideration. So an extreme example is the test that is made up of only one question, a most unreliable way to measure any trait or attribute. So jaranglah kita nak jumpa research question tu tinggal ada satu je kan. So at least paling kurang pun 5. Homogeneity question. So there is important exception to the rule that adding question increase reliability. A test will increase in reliability only if the questions on the test are homogeneous. That is, in order to increase reliability, the added question must measure the same factor. Even though kita nak tambah ke, nak buang soalan ke, kena make sure the condition of the question tu in a homogeneity form. Maksudnya dalam keadaan yang samalah. Benda-benda ni kita consider lepas kita run the first test. Then only we know kita punya soalan tu homogeneous ke tak homogeneous. And retest interval. So the longer the interval between administration of a test, the lower the reliability coefficient is likely to be. So that's why retest punya test yang Madam Fazrine explain tadi, tak boleh ambil too long sangat to do the next test tu. Nanti dia akan mempengaruhi kita punya reliability level. So a long interval between test administration provides more opportunity for test taker to change on the factor being measured. Nanti akan ada faktor-faktor lain pula yang akan mempengaruhi kita punya study population. So the longer the time increases the possibility of error through changes in test administration, environment or personal circumstances. So benda ni memang boleh expect lah. If we take too long sangat, dah jadi exhaustive dah kita punya study participant pun, benda ni for sure, certainly dia akan mempengaruhi. Dia akan introduce a lot of bias throughout our study punya finding. Test administration, proper test administration affect the reliability estimate in 3 ways. This one has been I have been discussed just now. So how we want to control the test administration punya environment. So the first one, carefully following all the instruction for administrating a test, ensure that all test taker experience the same testing situation each time the test is given. So that's why masa kita nak, kalau in a large scale punya population sample, that's why it is important sangat kita do a training post test to the data collector, just to make sure yang all data collector tu faham kita punya intention. Not just simply bagi soalan, okay you pergi collect data. Not as simple as that, because setiap orang akan ada different pemahaman. That's why kalau from my previous experience, when we nak buat multi-center punya research, kita akan panggil all the data collector from nationwide, sit down, duduk dekat satu bengkel, dan kita akan thoroughly akan explain one by one item dalam questionnaire tu, just to make sure that masa data collector tu administer the instrument dekat study population tu, dia faham. Maksudnya kita nak pastikan kefahaman tu sama. Kita tak nak masing-masing ada pemahaman masing-masing, nanti dia akan mempengaruhi kita punya research finding. Consistency between two administration decrease error that arise when testing condition differ. That's why it is very important. So effective testing practices decreases the chance that test taker score will be contaminated with error due to poor testing condition or poor test instruction. So just what I give you the example just now. Scoring, even tests scored by computer are subject to being scored incorrectly. Test user must be careful to use the correct scoring key. Okay, from my previous experience, even though kita guna komputer, tapi in terms of data entry, yang buat tu still human. Walaupun kita guna komputer untuk do data analysis, tapi masa kita nak key in data tu, kita tak boleh nak elak. Kita kena guna human resource juga masa nak key in. So masa key in data tu, akan ada possibility of error juga. Sebab kita human kan, kita tak boleh nak elak daripada human error jugalah. Maybe waktu buat error tu tengah tension ke, tengah stress ke, ataupun item ataupun study sample terlalu banyak, mata mudah nak jadi rambang bila kita nak key in tu. So this is what it means by this factor lah. Frequent checks of computation, including those made by computers, also decrease the chance of scoring error. That's why kita kena double check selalulah when data entry. Saya pernah pergi bengkel ataupun from my own experience, when conducting a research dekat saya punya jabatan, memang masa kita key in data the first time, ada certain ways being trained to us how to detect data mana yang kita salah. salah masuk. Benda tu pun boleh membantu jugalah untuk kita reduce the error. So cooperation of the test taker, some tests such as personality assessment inventory have built-in method for determining whether test taker guessed, fake, cheated, or in some other way neglected to answer question truthfully or to the best of their ability. Many times, however, it is up to the test administrator to observe and motivate respondents to cooperate with the testing process. For instance, test administrator need to be aware of individuals who complete the test in an unusual short amount of time. This individual might have checked off answer without reading the question or skip whole pages deliberately or by mistake. Although respondents cannot be forced to participate honestly, their test can be dropped from the group of tests used to calculate reliability when there are doubts about truthfulness of their answer. Okay, benda ni sometimes we cannot control jugalah. Kan study population is kalau melibatkan human panggil apa? Human punya factor. Kan kita tak boleh nak jangka how good dia akan jawab soalan tu, how jujur dia jawab soalan tu. Semuanya terserah kepada study population. Tapi apa yang test administrator boleh kawal is benda ni memerlukan skillful jugalah, skillful data collector. Dia boleh detect lah data-data yang kita boleh anggap dia bukan not reliable, maksudnya the time when we receive the questionnaire tu kita dah boleh exclude dah the way how the answer received tu. Data collector tu boleh tengok dah kalau kita include in this ataupun maybe tak lengkap, dia tak boleh nak simply exclude jugalah. Dia ada certain criteria juga yang kita nak include dengan nak exclude the data. But again, it involves human factor that we difficult to control over time. So that's all for my presentation. So hopefully from three of us, so could Madam Fazrine and Madam Azleen, could you guys open your camera again? Just for the closing of our presentation. So hopefully we have given you guys for at least a brief understanding what is reliability all about. It is important component of research when conducting a research in the future, inshallah. So that's all from us. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you for lending your ears. I know it's a bit long. I know it's a bit hard to digest, but inshallah together we learn this subject throughout this semester. So that's all from us. You guys can ask any further question after this video end. So that's all from us. Thank you.